All right, everybody, welcome to a new series here on NCAA 25 for my channel. We are the Southbay Sparrows coming out of Chula Vista, Southern California, and we are going to be in the American Division. Our goal here is to build this team up, eventually taking control of the American Conference, and then trying to bid to take someone else's spot in other conferences. So the hope is, as we continue to grow, we will start to think about moving up in the divisions. You know, there are some spots like the Big 12 we could potentially try to go for. We could look at the Big 10 if we wanted to. You're talking about maybe moving up to the Mountain West, since we are there in the Southern California area. I don't think there's anything in Pac-12 we got to deal with, but the eventual goal is to get ourselves to the SEC. So that's what I would like to do in this series here. We're only sticking with our division. We're only sticking with our standings. I don't want to try and do anything else there for this series. As you can see, the head coach is going to be Raymond Klein, coming from our Klein universe, where we have Jack Klein, the owner of the Los Angeles Angels, in one series, and then we got the Xavier Klein group that is the head coach in the Madden series. So figure keep it going. We got Raymond Klein here, and now when you look at Raymond Klein, we decided to do to give us a little more difficulties. We're going to focus on Tactician. Now with Tactician, this is all about boosting a particular team's efforts, and what I like about that is, we're going to see some opportunity area here, because this is only going to be a sim series. Our current gameplay sliders right now are going to be stocked at All-American difficulty. That is the focus there, with 12-minute quarters and 13-second runoff. I have some cooldowns in there, but it doesn't necessarily work. And then we're going to move this over to coach slower right now. Not slowest, but slower. So All-American. There is no CPU versus CPU sliders that I found that I really like, so we're just going to keep it at stock right now for now at this point. XP sliders are from Funkycorm. He just updated it, so these are the current XP sliders that I am using for my sim series here. Now the goal is, as far as the game content is concerned, we're going to be watching some of the games, seeing how it feels, and then jumping in and out of the game, from slow sim to fast sim, just to see what happens in that space. But yeah, we're not going to move too slow. My hope is that we could kind of leverage the ability of knowing this is a cupcake setup here as far as the overalls and everything, and then seeing what we can do. So the crazy part is that, so we're a 67 overall team, 66 offense, 69 defense. None of the players here are amazing. None of them are stupendous. My goal here is to leverage our opportunity of growing and bringing in new guys and seeing maybe there's going to be some players we decide to stick with. As far as how we decide to recruit, I do have a little blurb here on how we're going to do that. So everyone wants to try to grab like the 5 stars and all the best things and all that stuff. My goal here is to leverage my pipeline. I want to leverage not only the pipeline, but also our area from my alma mater, which is Southern California, Iowa. So how I have this story here with Raymond Klein is he's a tight end, right? Iowa is tight end U. So he's a big guy, and the hope is that we get him some players that fit that style. We're going to be using a power spread generic stock playbook with a base 4-3 defense, and the hope is that we're going to leverage the pipeline of Southern California, but we're going to have some ties to our alma mater in the Midwest, and maybe we'll find a good break there. There is no player on the team so far that looks amazing, so I'm not really sweating that part, but I do want to see if we can tie it to what he was, right? He knows tight end, so maybe we can find that bit of piece there. Now when you look at our recruiting and you check out the needs of this team, They say, hey, we need a quarterback, we need a halfback, we don't need a halfback, fullback, wide receiver. We need a tight end, left tackle, left guard, right tackle. This is more of just people that are here. But as we continue to progress or regress as far as our record is concerned, there's a chance that we're going to need everybody. So my whole thing is find players across the board that we can truly feel comfortable with and feel good about. What I'm recognizing right now is on the defensive side, we got 12 freshmen, we got 14 on the defensive side and 14 freshmen on the offensive side. So, we're going to try to see if we could continue to blend it. My whole thing is everyone always wants to look at freshmen, that's majority of the prospect list. But you want to bring in a couple guys here from time to time that could spark some things or maybe just be like a gap player. So I will not ignore JUCO juniors, JUCO sophomores, JUCO JUCO players in general, because I think it's okay to have those pieces as you continue to build out, the freshmen that you continue to bring in, because I want to redshirt most of my freshmen unless they're like crazy ridiculous. That's what we're gonna do. The offensive side definitely needs some help, and when you look at this, we got 5 seniors on the offensive side, 4 seniors on the defensive side, and that is it. And then our senior is our kicker. So we have room here on how we can continue to spark this team. So that's what I would like to do. But just because those are my only needs doesn't mean that's the only thing I'm going to grab. Now, as far as how I want to do this, right? Like I said, we're going to leverage our pipeline and kind of see if we can get that right, because those that are in our pipeline want to potentially play for us. So we're gonna look at not only that, but only players that are in my top 3. So how we're gonna leverage this here is top 3, but of the top 3, I'm only going to be looking at top 1, top 2 interest. I do not want to look at anybody else because our school is small. The chances of us finding all these guys is going to be very, very rare. So we're going to look at all these pieces here. My whole thing is, as much as I would love to bring in a 3-star and multiple 2-stars, I got to be realistic that we're going to have to fill this roster out. So we have 35 targets. I think for me, I'm probably going to hone in on like 15 at a time. And the first ones are going to be the main ones that I want to invest in. So that's the hope there, because like this right here, right? You got a right guard that is a JUCO junior, a tight end that is a JUCO junior, which means they only got 1 year left in eligibility. So if you bring them in, you're going to have a star for 1 year. But the way I look at it is, will they have an opportunity to get drafted and give us more marketability? Probably not in the earlier years of this school. So, those are the things to look at. But do I want to bring in like a JUCO sophomore? Yeah, probably, but only if they're a top 3. Now, you could just go ahead and say, hey, I only want to look at top school candidates. We could do that. That might help us out a little bit too. But that's how we're going to set up this recruiting here for this franchise, or this for this Dynasty series here. We got a lot of things to work on, but that's how I want to set it up, right? We're going to build our coach up, make sure he's strong. We are going to continue to build, which could take us multiple seasons. And the hope is that if we start hitting bowls consistently, then I'm like, okay, it's time for us to graduate and move on to the next conference and kind of build it up. And that's maybe where I'll start feeling comfortable going, okay, now that we built this out, we're in a new organization, a new conference, maybe it's time for us to build out a new pipeline of players. Now we start looking at 4-star. Maybe we say, you know what, we're gonna put some effort in a 5-star or a 4-star we find and put everything we can to bring that person in. And maybe that's what we can do there. But for me, knowing this organization is still small and still needs some work, I don't see myself going for anything higher than a 3-star for the time being. But as we continue to progress, right, we are in the Mountain West, maybe that's our next graduation point, and then we look at the Big 12 or Big 10, and then maybe we look at the SEC as our future. But the South Bay series, you know, it's going to be fun for me because I get to watch the game. I enjoyed the play-by-play that I did with the Xavier Klein series, and I think we could, you know, replicate that here for the long haul. Now, Madden will be coming out real soon, and, you know, we'll have those series out. I still am looking forward to the Xavier Klein series. I have an idea of what I would like to do there now, moving forward, of how I'd like to build out that series. You know, we had it where my guy was traveling amongst, staying to a team that was already built out, like the Chargers, and then the goal was to kind of move him throughout it. But I think to kind of mix that one up, I enjoyed having like an expansion team outlook there, and then building it out from that point. So where we can kind of skip multiple games, sim multiple games, and get us to the bigger parts. And I love the rules that I have now for that sim series too. So we're gonna have 2 sim series there, 2 new sim series coming up, you know, one for NCAA, one for Madden, and then here we're gonna have 2 rebuild series, one on Madden, one on NCAA. That'll be coming up real soon for the NCAA, and then the Madden one is my Giants team, so my favorite team. So we're gonna have those 2 built out. I don't see myself trying to reboot those again. I really thought about that, but the way I look at it is, for the Madden series, I got really bored because of the resets. So I think we're just gonna try to stick with what we got, continue to build, and move on from there. Whether we use real draft classes in that one or not, I'm still thinking about that, but we'll see what happens. But this is about a 12-minute video here, maybe a little bit longer. But that's what I have for you for this series. The South Bay Sparrows, you know, I really like what they're doing. I like what we have. The team builder was pretty fun. You know, we might tweak I don't see myself tweaking the stadium any longer, but the team builder stuff seemed kind of interesting for others. If you haven't done that, check that out. I was just messing with it and I enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to moving forward here. But that'll do it for us today. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with this series. The South Bay Sparrows are here now, and I'm hoping we give a new look in the American Conference. Y'all have yourself a good one.